Book of the Resurrection. And after the establishment of the Irish Free State, they began looking at this idea of commemoration.
He was an amazing character. He was born in Brickland towards the end of the 18th century, and 19th century, when is it? 18, whatever it is, 19th century. And he went to England and got a scholarship to Cambridge, but didn't take it up and decided, because he was very interested in home cures and all sorts of stuff like that. Became an apothecary, is that the word? Yeah. And then started the whole concept of mixing paints and everything else came into it and everything else. And I'm going to fly through it, but anyway, he suddenly got terribly interested in doing artwork as well. He was just like a Renaissance man, and I don't know, he came to Dublin then, and then he changed his name from Art Murnaghan to Art O Murnaghan, learned the Irish language, did all these ASCII. You look at them, and they take 1 year to do each one.
1 year per page.
And I mean, the state was so poor that they could. In fact, he didn't get paid for most of them at the end. He died penniless. But in the end, Devil didn't have enough money to buy him parchment for the last few. Do you know what I mean? But then I think they set him up in the National Gallery and the National Library, and he finished some of them there. But there is somebody writing a book about him. But the family owned these, and there are. I mean, I wrote to Heather Humphreys in the early part of the year, and actually had a meeting with her about these. And I said they should be reproduced in a beautiful book, because the cards that are reproduced are not great quality. There's a couple of cards, people here they didn't hear, but they've no money to do them. You see, they need to be really beautifully reproduced into a book. They have to be obviously kept in the dark because of the materials they're made from. But
well, I think what we're hoping as an education department, and I'm just saying this almost in a personal capacity, is for the new exhibition to look at it in a better way, and potentially to have some of it digitised so you can look closer up again, because the lighting is an issue, but we don't want to damage the material. So hopefully you will have a way of examining these a bit closer, because they are an incredible.
But look, he must have done them with magnifying glasses and tiny brushes. The watercolours on vellum, but I think he might have used. I'm not sure if they're on miniatures.
It's tiny. He's very into calligraphy and
he did a lot of illustrations for the nation and various. A lot of the Celtic stuff that you see, a lot of the Celtic revivalist stuff. He did those posters that are with good covers. As well as that, he was an actor. He set design on the gate, and he was in Ibsen plays and directed and everything else. He was quite an intellectual. And wrote as well. I mean, he just did everything, but lived in a little flat in Ranelagh all his life. Do you know what I mean? Never made any money or anything, and in the end had very little. But his son, he had been writing his story, and apparently it got burned or something. But if you look up Art O Murnaghan, Pete Figgis, his grandson, has written a piece about him in that. But my daughter's telling me that somebody's actually writing a book properly about him now. But nobody could afford to reproduce these well. They've never been reproduced. I mean, there are a few cards here, but they're all right, but they're nothing like the original. It's amazing to see the original.
They are incredible, and if you look at some of the titles and things like that, you get an idea for the inspiration for each one. Because, as Constance said, it took up to a year for each one to be created, so a lot of time and dedication.
And you must remember, he started off in English. He's from Lochbrickland, County Down.
Over when he came over in 18?
I don't know.
He just said Irish descent.
He was born in Southampton, but his parents must have come from Lochbrickland.
So
and this man, Joseph McGarrity, came up, this wealthy man, who at the end of them, But and they found a place for him to do them, But I mean, but he did that among 49 other things. It's amazing.
We do obviously have very famously the proclamation, and you have the half proclamation underneath as well. So after 1916 rising, and the British Army went into Liberty Hall, the printing press had pretty much half. They could only find half of the. This is where I'm going to rely on the artist more. For the printing, they could only find the plate for half it. So a lot of them printed copies as souvenirs. So there are quite a lot of half proclamations floating around as well. Full proclamation in the half, and you can also see some of the type as well.